Welcome to JMR Talks. Today we'll discuss about feedback. Whether to give the feedback or not to give the feedback. Now what's feedback? Feedback is a return of information about the process or a particular activity. Is it important to what we call share feedback with our associates, with our colleagues, with our subordinates? Yes. Unless until they know how about their style of working, whether they are able to what we call contribute to the what we call teams, divisions, goals, they will not be able to what we call improve. But let's remember one thing: giving good feedback is not only hard but essential. But some polite what we call decent fellows, for them it might look some kind of unpleasantness to share, especially the negative feedback. As such, they may refrain from what I call giving the feedback on a regular basis. This is something which will not come what I call natural to you. One has to what I call put sincere efforts to make it a habit, so that regularly feedback is shared, thereby enabling what I call the associates to what I call improve. Now, how to learn what I call this key competency? We have seen that in terms of Gallup findings, that manager plays a key role in getting the outstanding effort from his what I call associates. Now, it is his manager's job to share the feedback about his associates working, and also at the same time enable them to what I call improve. But when we look at the recent Harvard study, the results are what I call shocking. Probably that will make us to what I call rethink as to how to give what I call feedback as such. Now look at this great idea. Abby Esber and her team at Harvard, they have conducted a survey. During the survey, the person with a large lipstick on his cheek went to what I call interview a couple of what I call respondents and all that. About 155 people were interviewed, or the questionnaire was what I call administered to them, and only 4 out of them what I call mentioned about this lipstick on the what I call cheek. So that works out to about only 2.6%. So most of us might be thinking that it's always good to what I call give the feedback, but this is what I call ground reality. Not being satisfied with this, they have conducted real life setups and they tried what I call fictional scenarios. So more or less it got what I call the same results as such. Now why people what I call hesitate to give what I call feedback? Maybe they are not able to what I call estimate, they are underestimating. They are not able to appreciate the importance of what I call feedback. They misperceive the impact of the feedback and how it what I call impacts others what I call productivity as such. So in the light of this survey, Abby Esber clearly advises that let's give what I call useful feedback frequently. Recently we have seen majority of the organizations are saying goodbye to annual appraisal, the ritual of conducting annual appraisal. Nowadays people are talking about periodical feedback, continuous feedback, having regular conversations. What is the point in what I call giving feedback about something what I call he has done in November and you are telling him what I call June? So when you are sharing the feedback about the performance, he must be given an opportunity of what I call to improve. Something which happened last year, if you are sharing about it, what purpose does it serve? After all, feedback is an evaluative response, but it must be what I call constructive. It must enable the people to understand where exactly what I call they are erring and how they could what I call improve. For instance, look at what I call Avesh Khan. During the first what I call 3 tests, he went what I call wicketless. But thanks to the what I call feedback from the coach Rahul Dravid, look at his performance in the what I call fourth T20 against South Africa. Maybe not maybe, in reality, people want what I call feedback more than what we think. Now, a question that arises as to what I call how to give the effective feedback. Here we are lucky to have some insights provided by Stanford Graduate School of Business teacher Carol Robin. So what is that what I call you need to do? Number one, clarify your intent. The person receiving the feedback should know why you are what you call offering the feedback. Are you offering the what you call feedback with an intention to what you call enable him to what you call improve, or are you just you are trying to what you call do what you call fault finding? The second, make it a conversation. Don't make it a what you call monologue. Let the conversation what you call two-way. You listen to him and also what you call share with him. Empathy is what you call very much required. And the third, what is the goal of what you call giving feedback? The goal of the feedback should be what you call fault finding. It should be what you call problem solving. Maybe that's the reason nowadays a lot of emphasis is being laid on manager's role as a coach. So as a manager, in good old days we used to say his job is to what you call get the things done. Management tactfully. But today you not only need to what you call give evaluate a response, but enable him to what you call empower him to improve, overcome the what you call problems, inadequacies, if any. The next, let's focus on the behavior, not the character. In what you call real situation, we see a particular colleague may be good 99 times, but one time what you call he does some mistake or something of that. Then if you pull him at that moment, when you pull him or when you reprehend him, the focus should be not on the character or the person, but it should be on the what you call behavior. Right? Choose your words carefully. Let's not what you call avoid using the words like you are insensitive, you are not fit for anything, you don't understand, something of that. The feedback must be given in a constructive manner. Ask questions. Try to find out what is important to them. And if necessary, reframe the feedback. The more you give the feedback, it's better for the people concerned. So, while it is true that feedback, giving effective feedback is hard, but it is essential. For the effective feedback to happen, one must be empathetic. Try to understand where exactly the people are erring or going wrong. Enable them to improve. Not focusing on the person rather than on the particular behavior, and making the people to understand that this feedback is given not with an intention to reprimand them or fault finding, but with an intention to help them improve. Now, once as a manager, you make your colleagues, your associates understand the purpose of this feedback is to help them to improve, and the process or the method or the way you adopt is compassionate, empathetic, not with an intention to penalize. Definitely, I am sure they receive it in good sense and do better to improve themselves. Don't hesitate to give the negative feedback. You have to combine both positive feedback as well as negative feedback. Start with giving positive feedback. Say maybe 3:2. Now once you start giving positive feedback, the person is comfortable. Then don't hesitate to give the negative feedback. Let's not use the word negative. You are giving the feedback about where exactly he is not able to give his best. Then help him to to overcome. Now once this is done, I am sure every associate, every colleague of your team will put his best and try to contribute to the accomplishment of goals of the team. Thank you.